So, you want to know how to beat Ganondorf right away, huh? Well then you have come to the right place. Maybe. You see, this isn't a tutorial on how to speedrun Tears of the Kingdom per se. I'm not a speedrunner. I don't know how to do all these fancy speedrun techniques, all the glitches and whatnot. You're not gonna learn those here. This is a tutorial on how to do a straight to Ganon run. I made a video and posted it about 2 weeks ago where I beat Ganondorf right away. We started a brand new save file and I managed to beat Ganondorf in under 4 hours. And that's exactly what I'm gonna teach you. That means this is a very beginner-friendly video, and I think anybody can probably pull off a straight to Ganon run as long as you follow these steps. If you already watched that video, you've probably seen a decent amount of my strategy that I used, but I did cut out quite a bit from that video, so you haven't seen everything. But enough yapping. With that out of the way, let's get into this. After creating your brand new save, you'll find yourself on the Great Sky Island. And for this, you don't gotta do anything too fancy. Just beat the Great Sky Island as you normally would. But while you do that, there are a couple things you want to keep an eye out for. One of those things being these wooden crates. These crates are scattered all over the Great Sky Island. There's quite a lot of them. You're gonna want to break them. Why? Arrows. There's a very high chance that there will be arrows inside these crates, and arrows are one of the most important items for a straight to Ganon run. For those of you who don't know what you're getting into for a straight to Ganondorf run, before you fight Ganondorf, you have to fight all of the temple bosses. Yes, all of them, including the Seas Construct and even Phantom Ganon. So you're gonna need some good weapons, and arrows will carry you. Another item that is going to be vital that you can get on the Great Sky Island is Choo-Choo Jelly. There are a couple locations of the Great Sky Island where Choo-Choos will spawn, and I will show those in the video right here, 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 and here. But you need their Choo-Choo Jelly because Mucktorok. This is why I said Choo-Choo Jelly is vital, because you cannot beat Mucktorok without water-based attacks. Everything else on the Great Sky Island isn't quite as important as those two things, but I would also recommend stopping at the little Zonai Gacha machines, the bubblegum dispensers, whatever you call them. I personally really enjoy using the Zonai gliders and the fans. The fans will actually be pretty useful in my strategy later on, so get some fans. Even the portable pots might come in handy if you need to make some last-minute foods. You know what, just get as many items as you can out the Great Sky Island, honestly, and pick up any food items you come across. Just grab all the items. Just try and get as much as you can. But like I said before, arrows, Choo-Choo Jelly, most important. And that's pretty much all you need off of the Great Sky Island. I wouldn't really worry about getting any weapons from any of the enemies because, well, they're all probably going to break, and you're going to be getting better weapons later on. Off the Great Sky Island, though, on your way to Lookout Landing, make sure to pick up any food healing items you come across. You'll find these like fallen down rocks and debris from the Great Sky Islands, and next to those, a lot of times you'll find these plants growing. You can find things like fire fruits, dazzle fruits, and more. Honestly, just pick up everything you can. You're gonna need it. Now, once you arrive at Lookout Landing, I would even recommend just going straight to the shop to buy arrows. I know I'm mentioning arrows all the time, but they really are that important. Buy arrows, because if you buy arrows right away, you may actually be able to come back to Lookout Landing later, and she'll restock with even more arrows for you to buy. So I'd recommend stopping there as soon as you can. And yes, this is a little controversial. It is called a straight to Ganondorf run, which means you go straight to Ganondorf. But in my run, I did get the paraglider, and honestly, I'd recommend it, because without the paraglider, it just complicates things, and since I'm trying to make this a beginner-friendly tutorial, I don't want to make things complicated for you guys. Just get the paraglider, go talk to Purah, go do the thing, get the paraglider. Now, actually, before getting the paraglider, in my run, I did kind of ascend up into this, like, balcony section of the castle area, and you go down to this secret room and open up this secret chamber and go down there. You'll find a diamond. You can make a really great weapon with that right off the bat, and that'll be really useful for a future fight that we'll do. And honestly, when you're down there, I'd even recommend exploring that area. What I did was stick a Zonai fan to a stick, and what you can do with that instead of having to fight these strong enemies that are down there, you can just blow them away. It'll stun them for a little bit, and you can run right past them. Down there, you'll find some crates. You can break them open, get food items, find some chests with some useful weapons you can collect. Explore that cave a little bit. There's some decent stuff. There are some strong enemies. I died down there. If you die down there, don't feel bad. If you die in this game, you don't lose too much. You do just go back to your last save. So I would recommend saving often. Save jobs for days. And if you keep going down in that cave, and you can find bombs there. Bombs, super useful. Collect all the bombs you can get, the more the better. And you'll also find an electric like. Electric items are going to be very useful. You really want electric items because they are key to beating the Siege Construct. Kind of like how the water type weapons are key for Mucktorok, electric, key for Siege Construct. So if you find any electric enemies, make sure to take them out, get their electric items. But fast forward, after you finish exploring that cave a little bit and getting all the goodies down there, you can finish up getting the paraglider. Now once you get the paraglider, I recommend just gliding all the way over to Hyrule Castle. Now at this stage, you won't have enough stamina to make that glide all the way. I tried. You can use one of these Zonai gliders, but going from in the air to on a Zonai glider is kind of a hard technique, and I was saying that there isn't any speedrun tech in this. That's kind of a speedrun tech. So what you could do is before you try gliding up to the castle in the sky, you could make some stamina food, and that way you'll have enough stamina to actually make it to the castle, which is paragliding the normal way. And the reason why we were at the castle is there's going to be a lot of good items there. Collect all the goodies. There's some good bows. There's like the Dusk Bow there. You can even get the Champion's Tunic or the Champion's Leathers. There's Royal Guard weapons, Royal Weapons. There's Bookshop Bobby. Okay, he's maybe not so needed. He's not that great in this game, but he's there. And just collect all the items there. Check out Zelda's bedroom. I think there's like oh yeah, there's the Royal Guard armor set down there, which is kind of nice. I'll definitely make sure to edit in all the goodies that I collected in the video so you guys can see what I collected and you guys can do the same thing. Another thing you want to collect here is the Hylian Shield. This is the best shield in the game, as you guys are probably well aware. Highly recommend getting that. Shields are super useful for this fight because you're going to be doing a lot of flurry rushes, and when you screw up your flurry rushes, then that shield will be there to protect you. The easiest way to get this shield, instead of taking like the long route through the docks and trying to run past the Gloom Hands, if you go like directly underneath where the library is in the castle and just go straight down, there should be a cave entrance there. It's quite hidden and easy to miss, but if you do find it, you can just walk in through the back door, the back entrance, light up that torch, Hylian Shield, easy as pie. Now the next thing I got in my run is also somewhat controversial, but if you're gonna wanna make this straight to Ganon run as easy as possible, I'd highly recommend getting it. I fast traveled back to the Great Sky Island, used a Zonai glider, and glided all the way over to these islands above Hyrule Field. On these islands are fairies. There should be around 3 of them there. Get them all. Also, Sundelions. Sundelions are up there on these islands. Collect them. You want those because you can cook food with them. And the food that they make, get rid of Gloom Hearts. Super useful. Speaking of cooking food, this is when I head back to Lookout Landing and do some cooking. At this point, you've collected pretty much everything you need. Just cook up all of your food, all of the healing items. You're gonna need all of them. Spend some time down there. Make sure you got the best stuff you can get all the buffs. Some attack up is good, some hasty up. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot to mention this. Hasty is quite useful. You can find items to get the hasty up on the Great Sky Island. I'll show that right now in the video. Forgot to mention that earlier. But yeah, cook food, get all the buffs, attack up, defense up, whatever you need. And also while you're there at Lookout Landing, check the shop again. There might be more arrows. Buy them. And once you have all your food cooked, all of your arrows, everything you need, it's finally time to go into Ganondorf's hole. And by that I mean the depths underneath the castle that leads to Ganondorf. Here you'll be immediately greeted with electric like-likes. Like I said before, you need electric items. Kill those electric like-likes. They're annoying to deal with. There's gloom everywhere. This part sucks, but I'd still try and kill them because electric items are just that useful. Past them, you'll run into some Horriblins. These guys are also super annoying. This is kind of when I use, again, a fan fused to a weapon. Try to blow them away, stun them, so you don't have to actually deal with fighting them. You just stun them for a second, you try and run past them. This section is also super annoying. Maybe you can spawn in a fan, like I did. Use that to get a little bit of height to climb up this wall. It's really hard to get up because you barely have any stamina at this point. Once you climb up that wall, however, you will run into some electric keys. You know the deal by now. Kill them for their hearts. We need electric items. And next, we have our biggest challenge yet, a Lynel. For this, I think I had a pretty great strategy. I had 2 good weapons. One of them did increase damage when you Flurry Rush, and the other one did increase damage when the weapon is badly damaged. I fused my diamond onto that one that does more damage when it's broken. So basically what I did was I fought the Lynel with that weapon, and once it almost broke, I saved it. And then I used the weapon that dealt more damage when you Flurry Rush. When you're fighting a Lynel, there are times you can shoot it in the face with your bow, and you can stun it and mount it on its back. While you're mounted on the back of the Lynel, use that weapon that does extra damage while broken. Because when you're mounted, you actually do not lose any durability on your weapons while you're attacking the Lynel. So you can have that weapon for basically the entire fight. It will not break, and it will do crazy damage. As long as you're mounted, don't use it when you're not mounted. Also, I did say you can stun the Lynel with your bow. I would not recommend using your bow very often, though, in the fight, because when the Lynel takes out his bow, that's not fun. You do not want to have the Lynel take out his own bow. What I do is mainly go for Flurry Rushes, but there's this one move he does where he kind of, I'll show it on screen, but it's this kind of longer animation where he gets, it's like he has a lot of end lag, and he's kind of standing there for a second. That's when I shoot him in the face. The weak spot, actually, the Lynel, is not his face, it's his beard. Because we all know the Lynel store all their power in their beards. Beards make you strong. But yeah, aim slightly under his face. Stun him, mount him, use your strong weapon. You got this, I believe in you. Once you have defeated Lynel, the main thing we want from him is that 3-shot bow. That is the entire reason why we're beating the Lynel. That 3-shot bow is going to play a huge role in the Straight to Ganondorf run. Of course, he drops other great items as well. Those will also be very helpful, but it's that 3-shot bow we really want. From here on, continue as usual as if you're heading towards Ganondorf, until you reach the freezer room, filled with lots of ice-like likes. And this room also sucks. I'd recommend definitely just killing the likes because trying to run past them is a pain. Would not recommend. And plus, killing the likes, they'll drop ice element stuff that you can use on your weapons, which does come in handy. Moving on to the next room, you can paraglide on down safely, but there is going to be a room, I believe it's kind of like behind you. There's a room that has choo-choos in it. Like I said before, you need those choo-choos. Get the choo-choo jelly from them. At the very bottom of this room, however, there are 2 Lizalfos that are very annoying. Just kill them, because there are some items you want to collect, and trying to collect those items, when the Lizalfos are there, you're gonna have a bad time. But what items do you need in this room, you may ask? There are some Zonai weapons and shields there that are very nice. Collect those. But one item is actually really useful that you may not think about, and that is a hydrant. Yeah, it's really weird, but I would recommend getting that hydrant and equipping it to your shield, because another water attack, great for the Mucktorok. When he poops everywhere, you can just use that hydrant on your shield, get rid of the poop. After this room, you will run into the Gloom Hands. I would just run right past them. No reason to fight them. They don't really drop anything all of that useful. So the best way to do that is to just ascend up right at this spot here, run past this mob who's trying to shoot you in the face, and get the safety behind the corner. But don't go too far, because there is something we want, and that is right behind these rocks. I use a bomb arrow, opens up to a chest, and in that chest is 10 bombs. Super useful. Now, if you continue towards Ganondorf, you'll run into this dreaded room filled with Gibdos. I would just run past them. I used the 3-shot bow for this section and just shot a bomb arrow straight towards the rocks there to clear a path and get all the Gibdos out of the way, get all the rocks out of the way, just run past them all. And with that, that is the last little challenge you have to come across before you finally get to the main event. Before dropping down to fight Ganondorf and his army and his boyfriends, this is your last chance to really just go in your inventory and fuse all your good items onto your good weapons. Make sure your inventory is looking good. This is what I used. I'll put it up on the screen. I had an ice element item attached to a weapon, and you may notice I actually didn't use the Lynel parts quite yet, because I do save those for a little bit later. Oh, and another thing you may notice is I did equip bombs to my shields, which is a little weird, but you'll find out why those are so great real soon. And here we are. Before getting to Ganondorf, we have to go through Ganondorf's army, and this is where the bomb shields come in. Bombs are really useful, but they can be scary if you're gonna throw them or even just shoot them with your bow. You can end up blowing yourself up and killing yourself. So what you can do is fuse them to your shield, and you can just bounce off the bomb and it explodes all the enemies around you. It's kind of like a get out of jail card. You get surrounded by some bokoblins down there, just shield surf, and you get out of there and you can paraglide away. And while I'm up there, I kind of shoot my bomb arrows down, just rain death upon these bokoblins. The bokoblin is honestly my least favorite part of the army run, because there's a lot of them. They're everywhere, and I just kind of run away, keep strafing, keep moving, so they can't catch up to you, and I just spam arrows, spam arrows, spam arrows, spam my bow. This is why we got so many arrows. Don't use the 3-shot bow yet. We'll save that for something that's a little bit more important. And also, if your bow ends up breaking, which it probably will, don't worry, once you get to the Lizalfos round, there are some Lizalfos archers, and they actually drop some really good bows. Also, same with the bokoblins and the Lizalfos. When you kill them, they drop good items, they drop good weapons. Pick those up, the bows, the arrows, grab everything. But to deal with them, just shoot them with the arrow, run away, keep strafing. As long as you keep strafing, keep moving, it can't hit you. Watch out for those Lizalfos who will spit on you. That's just nasty. After you defeat the Lizalfos, you'll move on to the Gibdos. Now, they seem scary, but this might be actually the easiest part of the army, because you should have some Dazzle Fruits that you picked up. Those make these guys so much easier. Use your Dazzle Fruits now, beat them up, use your elemental attacks. And finally, last but not least, we have the Moblins, and these guys are a bit annoying. What I actually did with these guys was use some ice elemental attacks to freeze some of the Moblins. That way they were none of my concern anymore. They were just frozen, kept them there, and I just focused on the other guys, again, just spamming my bow and arrow and taking them all out. Now, this is a section I'd recommend keeping one Moblin alive, and you can use your ice weapon that you probably equipped if you copied my strategy, and just keep one Moblin frozen. If he gets unfrozen, freeze him again. Just keep alive. This is kind of like keeping a crawler in Call of Duty Zombies, if you ever played that. Just keep one alive, because if you kill him, then you're moving on to a boss, and you don't want to go there quite yet. This is going to be your last chance to go back into your inventory again with all these new weapons you picked up from the bokoblins, from the Lizalfos. Now's your chance. You equip them, use stuff, and just get prepared for the upcoming fights. Once you're ready, kill that Moblin. And it's time to move on to Colgera. Colgera, he's a pushover. What I do is glide up above him, wait for him to shoot his little icicles at you, glide on down, and break through his weak points. After this, he's going to fly around for a second, go into a teleportation, and he's going to spawn underneath you. So you want to just keep moving so he can't hit you. And at this point, he's going to come next to you, going completely vertical, and you can take out your 3-shot bow and shoot at his weak points, because it will be really close to you at this point. And your 3-shot bow, what that will do is it will break the ice and hit his weak spot all in one shot. And you can go back to back from one weak spot to the next weak spot and just take him out. One phase done in seconds. And with that, you're on to phase 2. And the strategy doesn't change quite that much. You just do the same exact thing, except for this time, look out for those tornadoes. Just hit his weak spot, use your 3-shot bow, and absolutely annihilate him. I don't think I mentioned this yet, but if you die at any point during this boss rush or the army fight, you gotta start all the way from the beginning. So, yeah, that sucks. Next up on the menu is Marbled Gohma, who's also quite easy. With this, you're just going to watch out for his attack where he launches the rocks up at the sky, and then you're going to want to recall them basically as soon as possible. So it goes up on top of him, unrecall, they will explode. When it explodes, he'll get stunned, run up to him, ascend, and just go to town on his eyeball. Of course, don't stay up there too long or else he'll get mad and it'll hurt you. Phase 2, he will introduce a brand new attack where he surrounds you with these rocks. Just recall one of the rocks, run through, you'll be fine. And then just wait for him to do that same attack where he shoots rocks in the sky, recall them, same as you did in phase 1, and rinse and repeat. Easy, you got this. Now on to Mucktorok. This is where that Chuchu Jelly pays off. Make sure to equip your bow, fuse some Chuchu Jelly to it, and just go to town, shoot him. I think I shoot him like twice or 3 times or something like that, and he comes out of his poop shark and he runs away. It's pretty simple, just rinse and repeat, keep shooting him with water, and then once he's finally out of his poop shark, go to town on him, hit him a bunch, get to phase 2. Now in phase 2, this is when he kind of covers the entire floor with his poop, and it can be really annoying. So taking out your hydrant shield to kind of clear a path around you if you're covered in poop yourself, that'll be nice. That's just where that hydrant shield comes in clutch here. With this phase, you kind of have to predict where he is going to jump. So kind of watch him, look where he's facing, kind of predict where he's jumping into the poop, and shoot the poop, get rid of that poop. He'll be exposed because he won't be in the poop anymore. I know I'm saying poop a lot, I'm sorry. But if you do that and just copy what I do in the video, you got this, I believe in you. And after beating Mucktorok, we have now entered the hardest part of this run. Queen Gibdo. This is when I highly recommend, if you cooked any attack up food, use it now. And also, equip that 3-shot bow now. Use some fire fruits to it, that's what I basically did, and just go to town, just spam, 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 just shoot her like crazy, and make sure to watch out for all of her attacks or tornadoes, all of her shenanigans she does. Just keep her distance, keep shooting them arrows at her. Oh yeah, hitting her in the head is her sweet spot too, so extra damage if you do that. On to phase 2, she'll summon all her baby Gibdos, and they won't like ya. These guys are quite annoying. If you have any leftover dazzly fruits, use them here. If you don't have any, well, tough luck. Just kidding. Maybe freeze them if you have any ice stuff, but just keep moving, run away from them, and just, again, go to town and just focus fire on the queen. Try and take her out as soon as you can, because the longer the fight goes, the more chances you will die. If you have gotten this far, congratulations, you beat the hardest section, but it's not over yet. We now have seized construct. This is when your shock items are coming in clutch. Take out your bow, use the electric item to it, aim it at the seized construct, and if you see it shielding, shoot it. Just shoot it with your electric stuff, and when it's stunned, run up to it and just hit it with your sword. This will knock the seized construct back, and you're going to want to rinse and repeat that over and over again until you knock it into the electric fence on the sides of the arena. Now, one somewhat important advice I would give to you is, yes, electric stuff is going to be very useful, but don't shoot the robot too quickly with your electric stuff. You will have some like invincibility frames where you won't get stunned, so kind of just like aim at it, wait for him to kind of start moving a second again or put his shield up. If he has his shield up, then that you know you can just shoot him. But I've made the mistake of shooting him like too quickly, and he did not even get stunned by my electric stuff, and I took damage instead, so not fun. During phase 2, he will take out like rockets and start flying in the sky and do other crazy stuff, but honestly, strategy doesn't change. Just keep doing the same thing, shoot it with electric items, run up to it, smack it a couple times, push it into those electric fences, rinse and repeat, and honestly, Seized Construct can be kind of a pushover once you figure out that strategy. And finally, we've made it to the final boss in the boss rush, Phantom Ganon. If you screw up now, you do have to go all the way back to the beginning, so do not screw up now. I know me saying that just probably put more pressure on you and might make you screw up, but don't screw up. Here, I didn't really have much of a strategy besides just flurry rushing. If you keep your distance a bit, Phantom Ganon will kind of lunge at you, and that is your chance to flurry rush. You'll kind of see where he's holding his sword. If he's kind of holding it vertically upward, then he's going to do a like downward slash, and you want to do a side step to get your flurry rush out. If he's holding the sword horizontally, then you want to do a backflip dodge to get your flurry rush out. Basically, rinse and repeat, just keeping on these flurry rushes on all the Phantom Ganons, keep your distance. If he hits you, not that big of a deal. You should have fairies, unless you use them all up already for the other bosses. Once you get to phase 2, there will be one Phantom Ganon sort of in the middle, who's kind of spreading his gloom everywhere. At this section, I take out my 3-shot bow if it's still there and it hasn't broken yet. If not, just use normal bow. And then take out bomb arrows. Now just spam bomb arrows. Obviously, keep your distance because you don't want to blow yourself up. And spam bomb arrows on that Phantom Ganon who is spreading the gloom because he won't be moving. The other Phantom Ganons, though, they might come towards you. Try and keep your distance so you don't blow yourself up. And just take them out with bomb arrows. But if you can't, just do the same strategy you used before for phase 1 and just flurry rush them to death. And with that, you did it! Kind of. You still have Ganondorf to fight, but you actually beat the hardest part of the Straight to Ganondorf run, so pat yourself on the back because you've basically done it at this point. If you die now against Ganondorf, you don't go all the way back to the beginning of the fight. You actually reached a checkpoint at this part. If you die against Ganondorf, you just go back here and you can fight Ganondorf again. It's awesome. So now you can finally relax and pick up all the items around from all the drops. Phantom Ganon will drop some of his bows or his weapons. Pick those up, although do be worried about using them. When you use them, it'll hurt you. So what I recommend is using those items to non-gloom weapons. And also, I should have mentioned this earlier, I'd recommend holding off on using a Royal Broadsword throughout that entire fight. Because Royal Broadswords are the weapons that will deal extra damage when you Flurry Rush. So I had 2 of these spare that I did not use in my run. And those 2 weapons are what I fused my Lynel parts onto. These will make incredibly strong swords, and they'll deal even more damage when you Flurry Rush. And guess what? During the Ganondorf fight, Flurry Rushing is basically what you're going to be doing. So these weapons are going to be super useful. But with that out of the way, we're here to the final step, Ganondorf. It's kind of like fighting Phantom Ganon, honestly. He'll do this attack where he runs at you. Watch the position of the sword. If it's vertical, sidestep. If it's horizontal, backflip. Get those Flurry Rushes out. Flurry Rush them. Use those one-handed weapons. One-handed weapons, I highly recommend, guys. Highly recommend one-handed weapons. I know two-handed weapons deal more damage, and I love the big numbers. Alright, big numbers make me feel good. But you can't have a shield out if you're using a two-handed weapon, so I would recommend using that one-handed weapon. Keep your shield out at all times. Hylian shield for the win. This thing will come in clutch. If you want to, you can use your bow here, although it is a bit risky, because I found every time I took out my bow, Ganondorf was charging straight at me, so it was a little scary to do. But if you have any Gibdo bones, use those to arrows. Those will deal a lot of damage. On to phase 2. Ganondorf will summon his boyfriends, but honestly, other than that, the strategy doesn't really change. The phantom versions of Ganondorf move quite slow, thankfully, so I just recommend keeping my distance and focusing on the main Ganondorf. Just wait for him to charge at you, get your flurry rushes, dodge his attacks, keep wailing on him, you got it. If you have any extra attack up buffs, use them here. Honestly, even I found being able to move faster, a hasty buff is super useful here as well. Do anything you can. This is the final fight. Go all out. Use all of your items, use all your food stuff. Make sure you get this and you do not die. Well, even if you do die, you don't go that far back, so it's not that bad. Finally, phase 3, the final phase. This is where things get a bit more tricky. While Ganondorf does put his boyfriends away and his attacks stay relatively the same, if you try to flurry rush him, he will flurry rush you back. Then you're going to want to get a back-to-back flurry rush. Watch his sword. Keep watching that sword. Like I said, if it's vertical, sidestep. Horizontal, backflip. Keep an eye on that sword. Get those flurry rushes. Get the timing down. And as long as you get the timing, keep an eye on his sword. Keep flurry rushing him over and over again. It's really not that bad. And with that, that is it. You beat Ganondorf. Wait, what? What's that? There's another phase? Demon Dragon who? No, I don't even need to talk about the Demon Dragon, guys. You guys should know how to beat this. If you are doing a straight to Ganondorf run before beating the game, why? You do the same exact thing as you normally do. It's a free win, guys. I don't even need to tell you what to do against the Demon Dragon. You got it. But with that, I hope somewhere within my crazy ramblings was a fairly decent tutorial on how to go straight to Ganondorf and beat him right away. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to check out my other videos. My name is Mr. Nice Guy, and I will talk to you later. Shoutouts to Ashton, Alistair, Allison, Madwar, Jamie, Sarah, Quinn, Ashwood Ass, Rescape, Pepper Saber, Nintendo Boy, Raymond, Finn, Lucas, Crickman Game, Dark Noodle, Twix, Sunny Day, Brooke, and Lauren for supporting me on Patreon or being a member on my channel.